Hello and welcome to my channel, Knitting Books, etc. My name is Cristina and I come to you from Lisbon, Portugal. So, I noticed that I have been very lazy and not updating my channel with what I've been reading. So, the last time I did it was at the end of May, and I didn't talk about any of the books I read in June or July. So today I thought of very quickly referring to the books I read and also talk a little bit about what I'm reading now in August. So I have here my, my book Goodreads, where I normally put books I finished. And I noticed that the first book I read in June was Winter's Wallflower. I think that this is one of those free romance novels that I get from BookBubble, so Kindle free books. I have no idea what's about, because that's how very often these novels work. We read them, they are entertaining, and then we forget them. Then I read the fourth book in the Chronicles of Barsetshire by Anthony Trollope, which is Family Parsonage. I am enjoying, I said this very often, I discovered Anthony Trollope last October, during Victober, and I loved him a lot. And so I am now participating in a read-along of the Chronicles of Barsetshire, which are 6 books, where we have a group of characters that reappear in every book. I have been enjoying this a lot. Then I have always wanted to read Stephen King. I until now I only had read some short stories, and I decided to go for The Dark Tower. And I read The Gunslinger, and I was surprised as how compelling the reading is, and I enjoyed that book very much. Then I heard about Project Hail Mary. Some people were praising it, and I immediately got the ebook and read it. Enjoyed it a lot, so much so that I decided to read The Martian as well. I thought that they were very similar, but very enjoyable, and I read them very quickly. I also ended my reading of The Purgatory, and again it was almost by chance that I found the book Inferno first in a bookshop nearby, and then I decided to buy it, and I fell in love, and now I'm reading slowly through the Divine Comedy, and I still think that it's one of my desert island books, and it's something that we are or should be constantly reading, in my opinion. Very good. Then I participated in the challenge, Euro 2020 challenge, which was organized by Mark from Book Times with Elvis, or Book Time with Elvis, and it was a very fun challenge. So we were assigned a team at the beginning of the Euro, and if our team won, we just read a book from the country of our team or set in that country. And if our team lost, we would read a book from the opposite team as well. So my team in the first part, which is the group's part of the Euro, my team was Turkey, and Turkey lost against everyone. And one of the books I have here that I read was Heidi, because Turkey lost against Switzerland, and I reread Heidi, and I was surprised because I think that I enjoyed this book more now than when I was a kid. I also finished War and Peace. Great book. I enjoyed it a lot. It took me some time to read, not because the book is very big, but because I tend to read lots of things at the same time. You will see when I talk about August. I read also Life After Life by Kate Atkinson, because it's an author that I discovered recently too. I don't know how, but I think that it was at the time of in March when we were reading mysteries. I read some of her mysteries, and I enjoyed those mysteries a lot, and I decided to try other books by the same author. She's one of those authors that likes to jump around in the narrative, and so Life After Life is a kind of Groundhog Day, but instead of Groundhog Day, it's a Groundhog Life, in the sense that the life of a person is constantly repeating, because sometimes, for example, the first time this person was born, she immediately died, I think, after being born, or something like that. Then she was born again. So her life repeats, and we see several possibilities of her life. Then I read with Danny from Spinelli's Peaks, a book by Ursula K. Le Guin. I was curious. I had never read anything by her, and we read The Left Hand of Darkness, which I won't say what it is because that would be a spoiler, but we hear several times that something is the left hand of darkness. And it was an interesting book, not a compelling read for me. So I read it, and chapter by chapter again, because I was reading several things at the same time. And while I was reading, I found it interesting, but it was not something that I need to read it. I want to know how it's going to end, or what's going to happen next, or even more about the characters. No, it wasn't. It was very interesting. It's something that, how would I say, helps us in thinking about difference. And so in this case, we have a character from a planet which is, I don't know if he was from Earth, but similar to a terrestrian, and that goes in a mission to a foreign planet. And not only we see the differences of the planet in the sense of geography, politics, and also the beings that inhabit that planet are also different. And so it's also very curious, and the way we accept those differences or not are an issue here. Then I read Deadman's Ransom. This was a freebie also. I think that was either a freebie audiobook or ebook, I don't remember, but it's one of the Brother Cadfael's mysteries, which I like, and somehow I got them and I read them. Or read it. Then I listened to, and this is an audiobook, Faceless in Death, J.D. Robb. These are some crime stories or mysteries also by Nora Roberts that she writes with pseudonym J.D. Robb, and it's number 52, and I have listened to all the books in this series. I enjoy them a lot. Also, what I think I already told you here, I enjoy revisiting characters. So although the main part of the book is that it's this is Eve Dallas is a policewoman from the 21st century, but in the future. So it's now I think that the year is 2061 or 2060. I can't remember, but we've been. I think that this started in 2058 or 2059. I don't remember the series. I mean, and then we've been following the same group of characters and their lives, and it's like they become friends. So it's, and the audiobooks are very good. So in this case, I don't read the books, so I don't buy the books, neither the ebooks. I only listen to, and I enjoy them a lot. And I'm up to date, so I have listened to the 52 books in the series. Then in a group of friends, someone referred to a romance novel called Eden Brook by Julian Donaldson, and I was curious. I read them. I think that I must have enjoyed it. I don't remember what was it, because that's how it works for me, this type of books. I read them. They are pleasant. It's a good time. It's kind of a resting time, perhaps, because I tend to read other, sometimes heavier things, and then I forget them. Then I guess that this is July, because I read, for Jane Austen July, I read Northanger Abbey, which is the book from hers that I least know, because it's the one that I don't tend to choose to read. So in my preference, or in my rank, it's the 6th book out of 6. I'm not counting Lady Susan or the other shorter texts. So from the 6 main novels, this one is my least favorite, although I loved it. What else? I have here a book which is not fiction. It's non-fiction. I have no idea why. I think that maybe someone talked about this author, and I decided to try her. And I think that I read the ebook, and it's a book, non-fiction book about books. It's called Book Girl: A Journey Through the Treasures and Transforming Power of a Reading Life. I have several books where people talk about the importance of books in their life, and I tend to like those. Then I read The Sound and the Fury with a group of online friends, and so if you remember, I had read in May, I had read As I Lay Dying. It was my first Faulkner, and I absolutely loved it. The Sound and the Fury, again, such a good book. Some people feel confused and in a way discouraged about his kind of writing. I feel confused, but not at all discouraged, because I love puzzles. So I like to read things in a different narrative type, and then try to solve the puzzle and understand what's happening. And this is a type of book where you need to exercise your brain to try to understand what's about. In another read-along organized by Kate Howe, I read Thomas Hardy's The Mayor of Castlebridge, which I liked a lot. Also, I read The Mill on the Floss by George Eliot in my read-along Eliot 2021, and again a long book where I think I talked about this book in one of the tags I did, because it's about siblings. The main characters are two, a brother and a sister. I read then that it's very similar to George Eliot's life and her relationship with her brother. Very, very good. It's a good thing when you find authors that we like, and it's the case with George Eliot. I had only read Middlemarch. I think I read George Middlemarch in the summer of 2020 or 2019. I can't remember now. And then this year I decided to participate in this read-along of her other novels, and I am enjoying it a lot. Then I read also with a group of friends online, Noah, Christy, Yasmin. We read Mrs. Dalloway. It was I had only read To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, and Mrs. Dalloway, it's another book, similar book, where we jump between the minds of several characters. But it's so well done, because it's not at all awkward that we are reading their minds, and that we perfectly understand whose mind we are reading while we are doing it. Very interesting book. I liked it a lot. I also read another book which was not in my TBR, but I like time travel books. I always find that very interesting. And Tom from Tom LA Books talked about one which was called Replay. It's again a bit similar to that Life After Life, where there's a character that is constantly reliving a period of his life. It was a very fast read. I liked those books, and I read it in 2 days perhaps. Then a great read along, which was The Silmarillion. I always loved Tolkien's Lord of the Rings and his world, but I had never read The Silmarillion, which is a kind, someone said the other day in a video that it's a kind of a Bible for the people of Middle Earth. So enjoyed it a lot. A great read along was Three Men in a Boat, with a group of people organized by Mark from Book Time with Elvis. And this book I had already read several times. I remember my mother talking about it when I was a kid, and as soon as I could read, I read it, and it's a very, very funny book. So clever. And the group that was formed and with whom I read this book was so great. And this was sorry, but I'm having some problems with my videos today, because my iPad is full, and I'm always constantly being interrupted by messages saying this is full and the recording stops. The last time I restarted, I forgot to click on the button to start recording, so I've been talking and talking for a long time without recording anything. So let me get back here. I was saying that I read Three Men in a Boat, which I recommend to everyone to read if they want to laugh a lot, because the book is great. I read it several times, and it's always a laughing out loud in every page. I finished The Final Empire, which is the first book in the Mistborn series, a fantasy series. It's my introduction to Brandon Sanderson world, and it was enjoyable. Not something that I say, oh, I love this book, but I want to continue this series. Then a book that I enjoyed a lot was The Drawing of the Three, which is the second book of the Dark Tower series, where we follow the gunslinger and some other characters that very, very interesting. And I am enjoying this series a lot. Uh, as a joke, almost, someone mentioned the Revolting Rhymes by Roald Dahl, and I checked it out. I actually read it there's YouTube video where we have the audio and the images of the book, and it's a very short book and it's very interesting. They are the retelling of some of our favorite fairy tales, but with a twist. And finally, I ended July. The last book I read in July was Master and Commander by Patrick O'Brian, the first book in the series, Aubrey and Maturin series. I enjoyed it a lot. I intend to read all the 20 books. As you can see, I started lots and lots of series, and in August I started some other series as well. So, my August TBR. I am participating in so many read-alongs. So I remember saying that I wouldn't participate in more than 3. Well, I lied, because I don't know how many I am in. Let's see. First, I'm participating in the Star Trek mission. First month, it's reading books from the original series, so with the characters of the original series. And I am reading Strangers from the Sky by I don't know whom, but it's I have it in ebook, and it's the characters are Spock, Kirk, Bones, so characters from the original series. I'm enjoying it, but it's not. I think that from all the books I'm reading, it's the one I am least motivated to continue. Then I'm participating in Sanctuary by William Faulkner, so it's my third William Faulkner. This one is not as, for me, not as interesting as the other ones, because it's not confusing at all. I am doing what they call immersion reading, so I'm listening to the audiobook and following the reading in the ebook. That's what I have. And there are 31 chapters in this book, so I decided to read 1 chapter a day. And I am enjoying the text itself. The characters, I don't know how. I am not one for analyzing everything, because I have done that so many years while I was at university, because I studied literature. So now I just want to read and enjoy the reading. But Faulkner writes in a way that it's very visual for me. So I can see the characters and the setting very well. In this case, it's more a linear narrative than the other books I read, but the characters are quite terrible, let's say. So I am curious of how this is going on, and the group discussion of this book has been great. Lots and lots of people are participating in this read-along, and there's lots and lots of interesting discussion. So, Sanctuary, Strangers from the Sky. Oh, I am participating in a new, for me, fantasy author, which is Adrian Tchaikovsky. Has a 10-book series called The Shadow of the Apt, and there's in a Discord group from Alan, the Library of Alexandria. There's read-along of the Shadow of the Apt. The first book is Empire in Black and Gold, and this is the book I didn't want to read it too fast, but I am already finishing the book. I am enjoying it immensely. The idea is that there are these people there are several types of races, and the races are so they are human beings, but they have characteristics of insects. It's funny how I'm enjoying, because I hate insects, but so we have wasps, we have mantis, we have beetles, we have lots and lots of moths, lots of insects, and well, the rest it's fantasy. There is an evil empire, and there are the resistant against the evil empire, and so on. But I'm enjoy. The characters are great, and it's been a very, very good reading moments when I'm reading this book. So then I'm also participating in Dune read along. So I had never read Dune, and this is the first book. There is Evie from she's only Evie, that's her name, I don't know, but she is promoting, if you want, a read along of the Dune series, and I am loving the book. I am also trying not to read too fast, but it's hard to resist because everything is so good in this book. So Dune, trying to remember what other book I'm reading, because I have 4 books in ebook and audio, which is, and Dune I also have it physically, but I am reading Dune, so the Strangers from the Sky, Sanctuary, and the Empire in Black and Gold, and then I am reading with Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, Noah from Noah from Everyone Who Reads Must Converse, and some people from Instagram, I think. We are reading The Master and Margarita. This is a book I bought because it's part of that collection of Russian classics by Vintage, and I don't know anything about the book. I am reading it more or less 1 chapter a day, and I'm enjoying it a lot. It's very funny. I still, at the moment I am, because I'm still here at the beginning, but I don't know, I am not sure what's happening, but I don't care. The reading is very entertaining and funny. Another read along, and perhaps this is the one who it's been surprising to me. It's the read along of the histories by Herodotus. And I remember when I was at, I don't know, 7th grade or even before, we had history classes, and we were told that Herodotus was the father of history. And so I now know why he was. I read the introduction for this version, the landmark version, which is a great version, because we have, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of maps that tell us where the action that it's been described is. We have lots and lots of images. So it's been a pleasure to read this. Herodotus is a funny guy too, because he tried to write seriously, and when I mean seriously is that he was a guy who traveled a lot, so some of the things that he talks about he saw, the places where the action occurred. He also tried to find reliable sources, but some of those sources are not as reliable as he thought, or he sometimes he even knows. He says that I'm not sure about this, but, or sometimes he even tells the story of some people say this, some people say that. So it's, what matters is that if history lessons were like this, everyone would love history, because it's like he's telling a story. It's more or less like, for me, a soap opera, where we are following several episodes of with several characters, and it's been quite interesting. I am enjoying this reading a lot. So, these are the 6 read-alongs I'm participating. Then today I got a message where I should have started I thought that it was for September, October, and after all it's August, September, and the read-along of the 5th book of the Chronicles of Baskershire. So if I have the time, I will start it this month, but I haven't yet. And finally, the other book I am reading, and this is for my own reading, is I am reading The Hobbit to prepare myself to the read-along that it's going to start in September of The Lord of the Rings. There's a Discord group, and the booktuber, I think his name is Ryan, I don't remember the channel name, but I will write it down, and he's organizing a read-along of The Lord of the Rings, and I decided to read The Hobbit as a preparation for that. What else am I reading? I am continuing with my slow read of Paradiso from the Divine Comedy, and I'm also slow reading this book, which I started for Jane Austen July, and it's an amazing book. There are, I think, 20 chapters with certain aspects of the novels, and this is a professor of literature, and he knows these novels by Jane Austen in a detail that it's amazing, and then he analyzes certain aspects like what's the age of the characters, or how do they look, how do they address each other, the names, several aspects, what games do they play, and then he goes in. He sometimes, because Jane Austen was such a great writer, and sometimes in small phrases she refers to certain aspects, and what this author John Mullen, I don't know how you pronounce his name, does is that he sometimes goes to and notices a small phrase in a book that indicates something related to this. So I am enjoying this reading a lot as well. And I'm going to stop here. I don't know if I can upload this because, again, storage problems, and I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I wanted to update my channel with everything I read and I'm reading, and from now on I hope that I can talk about what I'm reading weekly instead of every 3 months. Until then, I hope everyone is having a good time. I'm going on holidays tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to run away from the heat of Lisbon, and see you next time.